Alright, in this video I'm going to show you how to install the GEM fan prop onto the QAV250. This is the GEM fan 5x3 propeller, 2-blade, set of 4 I got. I want to point out right now that there are 2 that are supposed to turn clockwise and 2 that are supposed to turn counterclockwise, because that's how the motors are supposed to be set up on the QAV250 and most quadcopters. We're going to be doing motor 1, which is the front left, which has a clockwise rotation if you look from it from above. And so on the prop, an easy way to know is one of them says 503 OR, and the other one says 503, just that. The 503 OR, I assume OR stands for opposite rotation. That's the one that actually turns clockwise. So we're going to be putting that right there, but it doesn't mount directly. We have to use this prop mount that came with the motor. Now there's an M4 and an M5 that came with these motors. These are the QAV, our Luminaire brand 2300 kV motors. So they come with 2. One's an M4, one's an M5. The M4 is the smaller one, which fits this prop. It's actually a lot smaller than this prop. So they give us some spacers. There's 3 different size spacers that come. I broke the middle one off because this is the one that fits over those threads right there. And then that way the prop doesn't have, if you just put the prop on it right now, it's got wiggle room. So if you install that over it, put the prop on, doesn't have that wiggle room anymore. So to do this, we're going to use a little bit of Loctite, a light, low strength Loctite, and these just pop straight on the motor. There's a little hole right there in the center, which matches up with that dead center post on the top of the motor. That way everything will be rotating dead center. And there's 4 little screws here that we're going to use a 1.5 millimeter Allen wrench to screw on. I'm going to use a little bit of Loctite, like I said, not that much at all. These are small screws. They shouldn't need much at all. And then I don't want any dripping down into the coils, the copper coils that run the motor down there. Let's see. Dab. Lined up right there. What I'm just doing is I'm actually using the rotation of the motor once it's started to screw that in. The construction quality on this, the fit and finish, the tolerances that Luminaire does, they're all pretty dead on, not just with the motors, with the entire QAV250. During the build I've noticed that they're just fit and finish and stuff that's supposed to fit together fits together perfectly the way it's supposed to. Oh, that's a little too much there. And this we shouldn't ever have to take on or off. I think most of the props should take this size. The M4 for this size of quad. You can only put on about 5" unless you get the expansion. Get that off here. Unless you get the expander arm I've seen. I don't know if it's even out yet as of me making this video, but I think it's coming out. That allows you to put 6-inch props on. So when we're getting 6-inch props, when I try that down the road here, I may have to take these off. To get the 6-inch props may require the M5 instead of the M4 mount. I'm not sure. Okay. That's Loctited on. I take the one that says OR, opposite rotation, the one that you can see would spin clockwise and pull up. Put that on there. I'm going to take some Loctite here. Oh, that was a bit much. Should be okay though. And the way the motor's spinning, the reason I'm doing Loctite is because this would spin right off the way it's designed. Because the motor's going to be turning and all the torque is going to be in the direction on this motor and the other motor that's turning clockwise to unscrew it. I think the counterclockwise turning motors, when looking at it from above, they should naturally probably, I'll Loctite them anyway, but they should be tightening down the prop instead of loosening it when they're turning. So if we're going to have a problem, I'm guessing it'd be from a counterclockwise turning motor. You can see the clearance on the QAV250 for a 5-inch prop is perfect. You don't want anything hanging. My receiver right there talks to my controller, that's inside. But if that was, any of those wires were sticking out right there too far, this prop would be hitting it because it's going, as you can see, under this top plate. So I'm going to go ahead and mount the other 4, and we should be coming up on, this should basically finish the build. Alright, I got all 4 props on, and as you can see, I jumped ahead of the video series a little bit here, and I was actually testing the props out. It has not flown yet, but it already has a broken propeller. All I did was basically, I wanted to make sure all the motors were turning in the right direction before I zip tied them all down, all the wiring down where I wanted it to be. And I was holding it down against the ground in the very middle, trying to make sure my fingers didn't get hit by the props, which I would not recommend doing this because it's kind of scary. And you break your prop. Basically, I was running it up a little bit with the throttle here, and I punched it real quick like that, and it just snapped off. I have not even found the other half. It's somewhere in my condo. But yeah, so it's already broken. One prop, which I guess is kind of common from these cheap propellers, the plastic ones. Carbon fiber does not break, from what I understand, unless you hit something. But I guess you hit things all the time with these when you're learning how to do it. So I don't recommend carbon fiber. I'm not going to use carbon fiber anytime soon until I get the hang of flying it. But if I would have been doing that and punched it when it was in the air and airborne, I don't think it would have had the torque, because basically I think it was the prop was just bending up trying to take off, and I wasn't letting it take off, and it caused too much stress and it cracked it. But maybe it would have done it in flight, and it's good that it happened on the ground. We'll never know. I ran my wiring with the zip ties. You can see here I kind of buttoned everything up. I moved this power cord towards the back, so it's got a lot more room. I moved those the antennas that are mounted down here that come from up here. I moved those down under so it's not coming through the side here. I fixed the LED power cords. I ran them so they're not really tight. I ran them down the sides. So we should be good. I will, next video I'll be showing you how to start making it actually fly. We'll be plugging it into my computer and walking you through the Open Pilot setup. Not that I know what I'm doing with that yet, but I'll show you what I figured out so far. And we'll see you then.